Welcome everyone to this special edition of LAMP. LAMP means Leadership Advancement Mentorship Podcast. This episode is nothing short of transformational because we have right now in the house Chris Robinson, the Executive Vice President of Maswell Leadership Entrepreneur Solutions and founding member of the Maswell Leadership Team. Welcome, Chris. Welcome. We're so
Hey,
excited to
thank
have
you.
you.
Hey, Dr. Michael, I'm so excited to be here with you today. I
Me
just
too.
love you and how you engage in our community, how you add value to people outside of our community, and
Yeah.
with your writing ability and with your coaching ability, man, I've just seen it grow and grow, and
Yeah.
your growth, motivates me. And so, thank you so much for having me today.
Oh, Chris, I received that, Chris. I want to say thank you, Chris. Everything you see is a product of how you inspire this team. You inspire so many of us all around the world. We got more than 60,000 coaches,
Yeah.
and we so really excited to have you as a leader. And we're so excited about your new book, From
Yeah,
Drift to
come on.
Drive.
Come on. I'm excited, man.
Can you
Come
show? Yeah,
on.
yeah. Can you show it to them?
Yeah, come
Let
on.
them
I
see.
got it.
Yeah, yeah,
This is a
yeah, yeah.
galley
Hold it.
copy.
Yeah,
We got the
yeah.
galley
Really,
copy in
this is
there.
beautiful. This is so
So
good. So,
waiting on the
Chris,
hardcover.
to start with, I want to first of all go to the heartbeat of the book.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to write From Drift to Drive?
Yeah, so the heartbeat of this book initially was really to kind of help people. My initial goal, so let's just start with I didn't intentionally set out to write this book. It was
Mm,
one that was inspired. I was actually attending a private coaching session with a great friend Rory Vaden of Brand Builders
mm,
Group, and I
mm,
was there with three other authors in a private coaching session. And I was really there to just find out, is Rory someone that could add value to the Maxwell community? And during
mm,
that time, we were talking about writing and, becoming a best-selling author. And they said, "Well, Chris, do you have a book that you'd want to, that you'd want to write? You need a book, Chris." And I said, "No, that's not really, direction I want to go." And
mm,
besides, I've got really two audiences. I've got Maxwell members that I serve, and that's really, if I'm going to do something, I want to do something for them. And then
mm,
there's, people outside the community that, I speak for and serve at leaders inside of organizations. And so I said, I'd really kind of have to go one or the other. And, when it comes to a niche, nobody wants to
mm.
pick the niche, right? And so
Yeah.
I said, I don't know. Well, the second day, Michael, I was sitting on a bench and I was waiting on the Uber to come pick me back up. And the day prior, we had talked about, well, if you did write a book, what problem would you try to solve? Well,
Mm,
my initial problem that I was trying to solve, that I was contemplating, was underperformance. And the
mm,
more we talked about underperformance, we said, yeah, we could do that. But what's the root cause of
mm,
underperformance? And when we looked at what the actual root cause of underperformance was, it was
mm,
complacency. And so,
mm,
oh my gosh, I got so excited about the word complacency. I got so
mm,
excited about really trying to solve that for people that next day on the bench, I was thinking about, how I've got this tremendous ability to have a concept, an idea, go through a
mm,
process, and bring it to reality. And so
mm,
I wrote out the 7-step framework that I've utilized from, everything that I've done, becoming a speaker, becoming a business owner, becoming a
mm,
pickleball teaching pro. The exact
mm,
same step, I wrote those steps out. I go back into the boardroom that day and I said, hey, I think I have a book that can serve the Maxwell community, but also
mm,
serve their clients and people outside of our community. And I
mm,
threw it up on the board, and everybody in the room goes, "Oh, that's it, that's it."
mm,
And so
mm,
this book truly is one that's going to add value to people because
mm,
it's a topic that everyone deals with, whether they know it or not.
Yeah, you know what? You just hit enough. The seven framework. We're gonna go into that in a minute.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
first of all, what does it mean to drift in life and leadership based from your experience with great leaders?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we talk about drift, drift is really another term for complacency. It's
Mm,
a place in your life where you have worked to get good at something, and then you don't do the type of work to improve it any longer. So, inside the book, if we look at the word complacency, if we go back to I guess, the original meaning of complacency, it
mm,
is careless security. Careless
mm,
security. And what that really is that we have an overconfidence, we have a comfort in it, but we're not growing in that area anymore. And so, what I did inside the book is I redefined the word complacency. And so, the way that I define complacency is as a secret place of satisfactory success. Now, come on, listen to
mm,
this, Michael. Secret place of satisfactory success. So, we
mm,
all have that in different areas of our life where the good is good enough. We may verbally be saying we want more. We may have a vision board that we want more, but we're really comfortable with where we are and things are okay. And that
mm,
is the secret place that I want to move just a little bit further for people in their
mm.
life with this process.
Wow. And this is really, really, really very important for people to know. Now, let's talk about the seven framework that you
Yeah.
identify, because they won't forgive me until you get that one out today. We're not trying to tell them everything in the book because they got to buy the book.
Yeah.
So we're going to put the link
Like,
in this podcast for
right.
them to pre-order the book. So give
Yeah.
us, what are the seven frameworks? Are these seven frameworks that we all need to shift from drink to
Yeah,
drive?
drive. Yeah, so this is the seven steps. And so I'm going to give you the seven steps, just a quick overview of them, because
Yeah.
again, it's simple enough to do, but it's simple enough not to do. And
Mm,
this is not something that you go through once and go, okay, I did the seven steps and I'm done. What's my result? No, this is something that you're going to do over and over and
mm,
over again. The first step inside the process is clarity. Clarity.
mm,
You
mm,
cannot have what you cannot see. And what we want
mm,
to do is we want to define a focused, meaningful vision for your future so you can move with intention, just not motion. And what happens with people when it comes to clarity, a lot of times where there's stagnation or complacency in their life, it's because their vision is foggy. Like they had this fiery vision for something before, but life begins to
mm,
happen, things go wrong. And as each of these things pile up, that vision gets foggier and foggier, and we can't see what we want anymore. So a real
mm,
simple thing that a person can do is really, just take out a blank sheet of paper. And I want you to just write one question at the top. And that one question is this: what do I want? Okay, blank sheet of paper
mm,
right there. What do I want? And when
mm,
you really boil it down to what it is that you want in life, what happens is you can now create space for movement because all of the clutter is gone. The
mm,
second phase, Michael, the second step is gathering. All right. Now, in
mm,
order to grow in any area, you need three things. You need knowledge, which is information. You need experience, which means you
mm,
have to do something, and you need coaching or mentoring or a guide. All right. Now
mm,
that's a shortcut for those that are listening right there. You need those three things in any area. But in the gathering phase, what we're trying to do is we've set this vision for where we want to go, but now we need to gather information in order to
mm,
get us there. And we do that by gathering books, audios, videos, courses, conferences, but they all need to be lined up, which leads us to step three, which is filtering. All right. Now,
mm,
in the filtering phase, that's where we separate the useful information from the distractful information and we
mm,
prioritize what matters most. Now, in the
mm,
past, your success was really based upon the information that you had access to. Now think
mm,
about this. If we go back, 50 years, if, you didn't have access to information and get to go to college and things that time during that time, your success
mm,
was limited. If you go back even further, your success was limited because people didn't even have the right to read in some
mm,
scenarios, in some countries. And so, but today we have that opposite problem. Right now, each and every single one of us have one of these, and we have
Mm,
access to all the information that we could possibly want or need. So the
mm.
trick now is that your success is not based upon the information that you have access to. It's based upon filtering the information that you have access to. And so we have to
Wow.
filter, right? Come on.
Getting so much value. I mean, this is really huge, Chris. I mean, we can just camp right here. Let's keep going
Right.
here. We go to number four now. Yeah. So
Number
we got
four,
clarity, gathering, and filtering. Oh,
filtering.
this is so
Yeah, yeah,
good, Chris.
yes.
Wow, wow. Come on now. Let's get it
Hey,
out. Number
come on.
four. Yeah.
Now, the next step is guidance. Now, you have a book on this one called Mentorship Matters. And guidance is really about getting information, insight, and wisdom from those that have gone
Mm,
before you. But what
mm,
happens is, we often hold ourselves back because we're trying to figure out everything all by ourselves. And we think that
mm,
asking for help is a weakness when it couldn't be further from the truth. So if you
mm,
want to just not waste time. If you don't want to repeat avoidable mistakes and stall your growth, you need
mm,
a guide in your life in whatever area that you want to grow. But there's
mm,
a couple mistakes that people make right there when they, get a mentor, they pay for some coaching. Number one, the first mistake that they make, Michael, is that they expect the mentor to solve all their problems and do all the work.
mm,
And the guide is not there for you. The guide is there to guide you, not drag you. They're there to
mm,
guide you, not drag you. And the second mistake that people make there is that they expect immediate results. Like, I
mm,
just want it today. I paid this person. Why did I get anything? I went and got mentoring from this person, had lunch from them, and bought them a cup of coffee, and I didn't get the immediate results. You see, you have to have guidance, but you have to understand at the end of the day, you still have to do the work. The,
mm.
the next step, Michael, is relationships,
Woo.
relationships,
Mm,
relationships. You
mm,
are one relationship away from the breakthrough that you need. But what gets people caught up in this one is that they value comfort over growth, and they're
mm,
scared to go into the rooms where people are bigger, faster, smarter than they are. And so
mm,
a lot of people keep people around because of history and
mm,
proximity. History and proximity. And what you have to understand about that is that your drive can be drained by relationships that don't support your destination. And so
mm,
we've got to get in the right rooms. The
mm.
next step, Michael, is action. Look, we
Mm,
have to take action. You can be clear, you can gather, you can filter, you can get a mentor and guide, but if you don't take action, nothing's going to happen. And
it's
what you
really good there. Yeah, yeah. I got you. I got you. Yeah.
you know,
Okay. Yeah.
and if you don't take action, when you do take action, action actually answers questions. And so there's
Mm,
power in action when you actually do something. And that leads us to the last step, which is evaluation. And that's really taking
mm,
time to look at the actions that you took, the information that you consumed, the people that have helped you, and the results that you
mm,
got, and getting real with yourself in the mirror to say, hey, what do I need to do this next time around the cycle? Michael, those are the 7 steps. If you do that,
wow.
I promise you, you're going to get better results.
Well, quick question, Chris. As I listen to you now, I want to ask, is this 7 step, do you consider it as a stages or cycle? Is this something that we have to
Cycle.
keep going over and
Yeah.
over again?
Yeah, it's definitely a cycle that we have to keep going over and over again. And so you'll
So
see
we
the
can just call it the 7 cycle.
right.
Yeah, because someone has said, "Oh, well, I do the 7 step now.
Then we're
I'm now
done. Right,
at the home
right.
run now." Like not knowing that
Well,
they're
think
gonna do
about it.
it,
The
yeah,
7 steps.
again.
But if I want to lose weight today, Michael, and somebody tells me the best way to lose weight is to do 7 steps, right? But here's the thing. If I do 7 steps and I just walk up 7 steps every single day, well, hey, I might lose weight. But if I walk up 7 steps once and kind of look around, my body is going to look exactly the same.
So that means the plan is to keep doing these 7 things because it's a daily thing. It's not
It's a
something that
daily
we
thing.
can just
Yeah.
do once. Oh well, Chris, you said 7 steps. I'm already done the 7 steps now.
Right.
Where's the result? Where's the result
Right.
there?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, because these things are really good, and I like this clarity. That's the foundation because clarity is power, and then you talk about gathering and filtering, guidance, relationships, action, evaluation. Now, Chris,
Yeah.
I want to tell you something. You are one of the most uh rooted and grounded teacher I've ever seen, and
Uh,
I'll tell you the reason. Let me tell you why.
yeah.
When I joined the Maswell leadership, I was hungry to learn from you. So I
Ah,
was not satisfied with the certification. So I looked for anywhere you teaching.
right.
So that day you were adding value to another Maswell leadership team members. And there you shared one of those things that you just shared now
Yeah.
that for you to succeed in life, and you talk about you need knowledge, experience, coaching, mentorship, and
Yeah.
that day, this is how I learned. I like to repackage what I learned from great people like you
Right.
and put it in an acronym.
Yes.
From that, I came up with LAMP.
Right. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I said, wow. I said, this is really good. So I came up with that L. So because you talk about knowledge, so I turned that knowledge into learning,
Yes. Yeah.
in-depth learning.
Yep.
Then you talk about experience. And I said, okay, so that means for you to get experience, you need to apply
Yeah.
that learning. So I now put the A as an applied learning. So that
Yeah.
means applying, that means application. Then the
Right.
M, of course, I use that one as mentorship. And
Right.
then the P, I put peer. That means you need learning partners, people that you learning
Right.
together. So I
Yep.
came up with
That's
LAMP.
right. Yes. I love it. I love it.
But just to let you know that everything that Chris is saying, as you listen to me today, listen, everything Chris says has been tested and proven. And
Yes.
that brings me to this question, Chris. One of our Master leadership coaches, she asked this question, and I want to bring it up. I mean, there's so many questions that our coaches all around the world, they are aware that I'll be having this session with you. So one of them, this is what she asked. She said that she said, do you put a book to test before deciding to publish it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great question. This book is tested. That's one of the things that I do, Michael, that I made a commitment to
Yeah.
a very long time ago is I'm never going to teach what's not
Mm,
been tested. I'm
mm,
never going to teach just a philosophy. I always
mm,
want to teach from what I've lived out, what I've
mm.
experienced, what I've
Yeah.
seen others experience. And so
Mm,
I'm not just teaching a philosophy, it's the exact same principle I follow with bringing on faculty members to Maxwell Leadership. There's
mm,
no philosophers that teach our
mm.
team members, they're all practitioners.
Patricia.
And
Yeah.
so if you're going to write a book, it needs to be something that you have lived out because
Yeah.
then now that message resonates more because you're talking from a place of experience, you're talking from a
Yeah.
place of pain, you're talking from a
Yeah.
place of results that
Mm.
you can now pass on to others.
Yeah. And that's what I believe, Chris. I believe so much, as a trained physician. And my teachers then in school, these doctors, they used to call some people book physician. Book
Right.
physician are people that they are not in the practice. They just kind of like, I mean, you may graduate as a doctor, but if you are not practicing, you are not a practitioner. You just you just doing philosophy. And Epictetus actually said this. He said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." And
Right.
that's what being a practitioner is all about. Now, this person also has this question. He said, what is the minimum number of people required to review or test your idea before giving it out?
Yeah, I really don't think there's a number that you have to put to it to say, hey, there's got to be 1,000 people or a
Mm,
hundred people. Again, I think it goes back to your life. your life,
Mm,
your experiences, and if you've added enough value to people, you're going to see the result of that. Just prior to, doing this podcast and this show, I was on with a former client of mine doing a session for his group. And he opened the session, Michael, talking about me coaching him and how one phone call with me actually led in a direction to where it tripled his net worth in the millions as a result of
mm,
the one conversation that we had. And so I can't tell you how many people I've tested with, but I can tell you there's people all over the planet that will be able to
mm,
say, hey, I've listened to Chris, I've applied what Chris has taught, and here's a result that I have. So
mm,
it's one of those things where there's not a specific number, but you want it to be lived out in your life, and then
mm,
you want to be able to
mm.
see it in the life of others.
Yeah, I'm one of those that listen
Yeah.
to Chris. I'm a testimony to the people that have put Chris work to work. I can tell
Yeah.
you that's the truth. I just told you about the lamp that I took from
Right.
you. Yeah. Then
Yeah.
Chris, a quick question. Can you share a time in your own leadership journey when you had to make the tough shift from drift to drive?
Yeah.
What
I've
does
got
that transition look like for you?
Yeah, so I can go back to one of the most memorable moments in my life, and that was after I was in my late 20s, and I had did very well in my early 20s. I started
Mm,
making a six-figure income by 21 years old, and
mm,
thought I was doing well, and I went out and started my own business, and that business failed, and then the next business failed, and then I remember going out for a drive that day, and I mean I was crying, I was just nasty cry, Michael. Just,
mm,
and I'm a person of faith, and so nobody get offended, but I'm crying out to God, going,
mm,
God, why didn't this work? And then there's a black F-150 truck in front of me. It's got a little silver seal on it. It's a
mm,
fireman seal. And in that moment, that represented normalcy to me. Because kids grow up saying, "Hey, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a fireman. I
mm,
want to be this." And I'm crying out to God in that moment, "Why can't I just take a normal job?" And in the most audible voice, Michael, I believe I heard God say, "I didn't put that inside of you."
mm,
And what I realized as I look back on that moment was that I was crying out for complacency. I was crying out for security. I was crying out for comfort into just being normal. And so in that moment, I made a choice that, hey, look, I'm going to continue to pursue this entrepreneur route versus going back and just taking a normal job. And I'd love to tell you that everything went smooth and no, but it
mm,
was up and it was down. But I
mm,
knew that I knew inside of me that I wasn't built just to work a 9 to 5, clock in, clock out, come home, watch
mm.
TV, and go to bed. I was built to add value to people. Yeah.
Wow, that was really great, Chris. Thank you for sharing that story. Now, quick question. One of your signature teachings is becoming a star creator, and you did that
Yeah.
so well. You are well known for that. So, how does from drift to drive ties into that message of being a star creator? Yeah.
Yeah, from drift to drive really is about the process of growing yourself
Mm,
and living out your beyond your good to tap into your potential. And what we're really trying to do is you have where you're at is good, but your potential is here, and in between is great. And so
mm,
the more that you increase your ability, as John Maxwell teaches, the more capacity we have to help others. And so,
mm,
if you are constantly growing, constantly developing, that opens up the door for you to help others around you. And so,
mm,
growing yourself is really about helping others. And
mm,
then you can put yourself in a position to make the mind shift of, hey, I don't want to just be the star, I want to
mm,
create stars. And when you
mm,
get into that, you begin to see significance, you begin to see value, you begin to see
mm,
impact, and the
mm.
world is a whole lot better.
Wow, that's awesome. You remind me of the book that one of the book I'm reading now, Jim Collins, From Good to Great.
Yeah, yeah,
So, so,
yeah.
drift to drive is just like saying you want to move from good to great.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
indeed. Indeed.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's awesome. Now, if someone listening and to you today feels like they've wasted years drifting,
Yeah.
then what will you say to remind them that it's never too late to start driving again?
Yeah, well, good news. I mean, the good news is you feel like you've been drifting your whole life. Today is your day. Today is the wake up call. And you
Mm,
may have drifted to this point, or you may be in drift for a season, but today you can start moving towards whatever it is that you want. And so I
mm,
liken it back to, this being a moment that we call a rumble strip moment. In
mm.
the 1950s, 1952 to be exact, they introduced a brand new feature to a two-lane highway in New Jersey. And what they did was they began to cut little strips into the ground because what was happening was people were so familiar with the roads that they were just casually drifting off and causing crashes. And what happened is they put these rumble strips in, and that little rumble from being off course has decreased crashes by 70%. So
Woo.
my goal today for you is to hopefully be a leadership rumble strip that wakes
Mm.
you up from your drift and gets you start to driving again.
Wow, that was awesome. So, Chris, as you look ahead, what's your biggest hope for readers of From Drift to Drive? And what legacy do you hope this book leaves behind?
Yeah, my hope for this book is that number one is people get it and apply it. And the legacy of the book or the legs of the book is that I hope that the 7 step framework, which is why I openly share the 7 steps. I want the 7 steps to be known because I know that the 7 steps work, and I don't want to hold it back and say, well, you got to get the book to get the 7 steps. No, if the 7 steps today can help you, I want that for you. And so
Mm.
at the end of the day, Michael, I want this to be a resource for people to use with their kids, a resource for people to use with their families, their co-workers, their employees. I want this book to add value and reach as many people as possible.
Wow, that's great. Wow, great time of sharing today, Chris. And one of our leaders, Maswell Leadership Coaches, has a question, and she said, that is Lisa Mandeep from King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. And she said, "What is one feedback you expect from your readers?"
Yeah, one feedback I expect from the readers is action. What did you do? What did you do as a result of
Get
reading the
out of the house a little bit and do a little
Just a
bit.
bit. That's right. That's right.
I mean, we know what to expect from Mr. Do
Right.
Day. That's awesome. Okay. Coach Sherry McLeroy, question is this. She said, if you could tell your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be?
Wow, that's a great question. Younger self, I think it's what I'm telling my kids every day is that, hey, I'm asking them consistently, what do you want to do? What do you want? And whatever they respond to, I'm trying to equip them with the resources, with the knowledge,
Mm,
with the experience, with the coaching, and whatever it is that they're doing, whether it's
mm,
baseball, whether it's track, whether it's cross country, whether it's gymnastics. I'm trying to teach them the framework. So I would tell them, what I would tell myself is what I'm telling them consistently. Because if they could just follow the process, man, life could be really a lot better for them a lot faster.
wow, that's awesome. So we have another coach from all the way from South Africa,
All right.
Coach Chiweni. He said, as a leader, how do you ensure that self-confidence doesn't turn into complacency?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happens. Self-confidence turns into complacency. And
Hmm.
the reason that that happens is because our good is good enough. Our good
Hmm.
is good enough, and we can get by. We can bypass, the
Hmm.
average person. We're better than the average person. We've got
Hmm.
good results. We're
Hmm.
comfortable. And then that
Hmm.
turns into complacency. So what we have to do is we have to examine
Hmm.
where we might be complacent. So that's taking a
Hmm.
look at what are the things that I'm good at that I really haven't worked on in a very long time that I just naturally do well? What are
Hmm.
the areas that are average in my life or that are lukewarm in my life? And it takes awareness. And so we've got a great quiz that helps you kind to identify some complacency.
Oh, is this
So
quiz right in the book?
yeah, yeah, it's in the
Oh,
book.
wow,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
awesome. Oh,
And
that's
then
a great one. Wow.
yes, yes, but they can also take it online because if you take it online, not only do I give you the answer, because in the book I can't give you all the reports based on what you
Yeah.
said, but you get a 5-page report with action steps based on where you are. So I
Wow.
never
For
want
everybody
to,
that buy the book, they get this.
no, you don't even have to buy the book. They can go take it right now.
Wow. Tell us. Okay, where
Yeah,
can I go and
yeah.
take it?
So if you go to drift2drivequiz.com, drift2drivequiz.com, it's a free assessment that you can take, and it's going to give you action steps that you can take based upon where you are
So people can go right now to
right now.
drift two
Yep. Number two.
as a number two,
Yep.
drive.com. And just like that.
Drift2drivequiz.com, drift2drivequiz.com.
Okay, okay.
And
Oh,
they can
wow,
take
wow.
that quiz, take the assessment without buying the book, and you're going to get a little action plan right there before you
Wow.
even purchase the book. So again, I want to add value to people.
That's a big gift that you just gave it
Yeah.
just for everyone. Wow, that's
So,
awesome. Wow, you saved the best for the last. Now, a follow-up question to that is, are there specific habits or mindset shifts that help maintain the drive for growth?
yeah, it's a obsessive curiosity for learning. An
Hmm.
obsessive curiosity for learning.
Hmm.
And that is really the biggest thing that has driven my life and my results. That's modeled by John Maxwell, that's modeled by
Hmm.
Mark Cole, it's modeled by any person I'm around. We're habitual learners. We're curious. We're trying to figure out how can we grow? How can we get better? And so
Hmm.
making that shift that, hey, look, I don't know it all, and I've got room to grow and I've got more potential. That shift
Hmm.
will continue to help drive your growth.
Wow, that's great. That's great. And in fact, what a powerful and purposeful driven conversation, Chris.
Yeah.
Thank you for pouring out your wisdom and helping
Yeah.
us all to shift from drift to drive. If you've been drifting, today's you've had some framework how you can step into motion and make your life count. So we're gonna put the link to get Chris Robinson's book. We're gonna put it in this podcast so that you can pre-order for it. It's not available yet, but you can pre-order for the book. And don't forget to subscribe to this podcast
That's right.
and share this great message so that everyone can have it. So, Chris, what's your last word for people as we go now?
Yeah, as you are going throughout life, just know that your best days are ahead. I know that life has happened and things may be one way or another in your life, and you may be experiencing the best part of your life, but guess what? There is more. And so I want to encourage every single one of you to go out and go from drifting to driving.
Wow, this has been such an amazing experience. Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much for adding great value to
Yeah.
this leadership community. And I want you to know that this message is going to go far because
Yeah.
this is what everyone is looking for right now. So
Yes.
thank you, Chris. Thank you so much. This is really great.
Yeah.
And